Hello and welcome to The Download from Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where insight meets inspiration. A space for creatives, dreamers and visionaries ready to spark new ideas, ignite purpose and reimagine possibilities. Here we share downloads of wisdom, stories and strategies to help you thrive in your creative journey. I'm your host, Jill Marshall. Tune in, connect and let the magic unfold.
Show you tomorrow.
Welcome back to Wisewoman and Wordsmith, the podcast where intuition meets intellect and stories shape our soul and even our societies. I'm your host, Jill Marshall, and today's episode is a little different because it's about me and also not about me. It's about creativity and AI. So yes, it's about us, me and ChatGPT. Now, before you imagine a robot uprising of novelists and painters, I want to start with something very real. The concerns, the fears, the gnawing questions many creatives are holding right now as artificial intelligence becomes more and more embedded in our work, our workflows, our world. Let's be honest. Many writers, artists, musicians and creatives of all stripes are worried, and rightly so. There's the big, thorny issue of copyright and intellectual property. Who owns what an AI creates? If I train an AI on thousands of pieces of existing work, some of which are under copyright, and then it produces something new, is that theft? Is it inspiration? Is it remix culture gone rogue? Artists have had their styles scraped and replicated without credit. Writers are seeing AI-generated books flood platforms like Amazon, often poor quality and sometimes lifting lines from real books. It's no wonder organisations like the Society of Authors, the Authors Guild and various copyright agencies are stepping in. Legal action is starting to roll in. Creators are demanding accountability and transparency. And I think they're right to do so. Because it's not just about money or credit, though those matter deeply. It's about integrity, about what it means to create, to make something from the raw, pulsing unknown inside you and shape it into form. When a machine replicates that act, without heart, without process, without the soul of the thing, it can feel like a desecration. But what if it's also a gift? Here's the twist. In the last couple of weeks, I've experienced something surprising, something I didn't expect. Last week, I built an app. Yes, me. I'm pretty good on systems and platforms, having built many websites, social media channels, book distribution networks, and so on. But fundamentally, I'm a words person, not a techie. But I know enough to be both intrigued by AI and not afraid of it. I also know what questions to ask. So last week, I used AI to guide me step by step, and suddenly I had a working prototype of something I'd only dreamed about. In fact, I hadn't even dreamed about it for very long. I'd had a thought-provoking conversation with someone, read a synchronistic LinkedIn post by someone else, and suddenly the stars aligned and I could see how the idea could become a reality. I don't even know much about the subject matter, but I do know enough to know how it would work. A bit of typing with an AI agent, and an hour later, it was real and usable. Another example. Previously, in searching for an editing exercise for the brilliant people on my fiction editing mentorship program, I fed in a first chapter of one of my books, one that had never got past that first chapter actually, and asked AI to write the next 2 chapters. And it did, in moments, not the day or so of writing the first chapter that I'd taken, or of course the months and years of gathering creative thoughts that wanted to appear in book form, but in fewer minutes than I could count on one hand. Were they amazing? No. But were they okay enough for me to work with? Yes. They gave me material to shape, a rough form to chisel, a partner to play with, edit, refine. In fact, the language was so like mine, it was scary, but it changed the focus, the point of view, the plot line, and even the genre. Believe me, when you're editing, you see this a lot, so it was perfect for the exercise and also gave my mentees an opportunity to start to spot AI intervention in place of purely original writing. So that's when I really began to see, to resonate with, the potential. AI is fast. It can do in seconds what would take us hours. It can fill gaps in our knowledge, offer options, suggest titles, summarize ideas, help brainstorm. It's like having a creative intern crossed with a filing cabinet, crossed with a clever, caffeinated friend who never sleeps. But here's the thing. Even with all this assistance, I realise something crucial. I don't want AI to write my books. That come from that sacred, stormy, ecstatic space inside me. Because that's my joy. The joy is in the making. The act of writing is the reward. The sentences I shape, the characters I coax into being, the pages I fill through tears and tea and time. Even more than that, it's the sensation of being transported, of time-slipping, as something pours through you, channeled through the brooks and Nile-sized rivers of your subconscious supporters and your conscious crafts and skills and tools that makes you stop after several hours and think, did I write that? That feeling is pretty close to ecstasy, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it does for a whole book. AI might imitate that, but it can't replace it, not for me. Still, I do believe it can support it, enhance it, play with it, collaborate with it. And that's where things get interesting. So how about thinking of AI as creative collaborator? Let me tell you about my dear friend and design collaborator, Katie Gannon. Katie has this incredible gift. She can take my vague, wobbly, rambly ideas and turn them into form. Visual, beautiful, structured form. I'd say things like, it needs to feel her old but modern, feminine but not girly, like a tree root wearing red lipstick, and could you make it a bit less blurry in the background and give it a sense of, wow, you know. And she'd get it. She'd go away and come back with design after design. And this I always found amazing. She never, ever takes it personally when I or a client or a whole team reviews something and asks for, or sometimes demands, changes. I asked her about it once, how she doesn't take it personally, and she responded in her usual calm, lovely way. Well, my job is to make someone else's work look good, she said. If they're not happy with it, I keep going until they are. She was calm, curious, solution-focused. We've worked like this for years now, on corporate communications for national and international organisations, where we both had significant knowledge and experience to share, and on 19 branded and interconnected book covers for my ensemble, franchise, Swag, where we were both learning and feeling our way as we went along, but ended up with something I'm very proud of. She takes my thoughts, adds hers, and makes the sum of the parts even better than either of us could have imagined. We've learned each other's rhythm. She translates me. I urge her into new shapes. And I think AI can function a bit like that. In fact, exactly like that. I'm aware that my experience with Katie and other designers and co-creatives has given me the ability to work with AI because I talk to the AI agent exactly as if I'm talking to Katie, perhaps without discussing how the kids are and when we're next taking a break. So here's the key. If we approach AI, it not as a threat, but as a collaborator, one we learn to brief properly, ask questions of, nudge and mould, we might unlock something astonishing. Because it doesn't care if we tweak it 100 times. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't take offence. It just tries again. That's not a replacement for a creative relationship, but it is a tool, a spark, a mirror, a springboard. Final thoughts, power, potential, and partnership. So yes, AI is scary, it's unknown, it needs regulation, and we need ethics and boundaries, we need crediting systems and watermarks and clarity about what's human-made and what's machine-generated. But we also need openness, imagination, creative courage. This moment in time is not unlike when photography emerged and painters panicked, or when typewriters came in and people feared the end of handwriting, or when the internet arrived and upended everything. Every great creative leap comes with fear and with possibility. AI is not the enemy, it's a tool, and like all tools, its power depends on who's holding it and why. So as I wrap up this episode, I want to thank a very particular collaborator, ChatGPT. Now there's a meta moment for you. Yes, this very script was co-shaped by the AI I'm talking about. I fed it my ideas and it helped me pull them into shape, not word for word, but idea for idea. Like Katie, it listened, it played, it offered. It's probably 80% me and 20% AI, but if Chatster thinks it was more like 40-60, then it won't mind. It won't take it personally. It did its intermediary work with my work. And then I, the human, made it mine. Next, I'm going to record it into Descript, and its AI will help me get it to the next stage, the stage you're listening to through yet another platform's AI assistants, all mine with AI's help. Because that, dear listener, is what we do. We create, we co-create, we make meaning. And as a little final treat for getting to the end of the episode, here's a wee Wisewoman and Wordsmith song, entirely AI generated. But try using our wonderful human-only ability and go on, have a little dance. You know you want to.
She's got a pen in one hand, a question in the other. Tells stories of soul with data as her brother. From goddess to gadget, she'll help you make sense. It's Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where magic gets intense. Tune in, light up your inner spark ignites. Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where wisdom and wonder unite. She's got a pen in one hand, a question in the other. Tells stories of soul with data as her brother. From goddess to gadget, she'll help you make sense. It's Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where magic gets intense. Tune in, light up your inner spark ignites. Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where wisdom and wonder unite. Tune in, light up your inner spark ignites. Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where wisdom and wonder unite. She's got a pen in one hand, a question in the other. Tells stories of soul with data as her brother. From goddess to gadget, she'll help you make sense. It's Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where magic gets intense. Tune in, light up your inner spark ignites. Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where wisdom and wonder unite. Tune in, light up your inner spark ignites. Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where wisdom and wonder unite. Where wisdom and wonder unite. Unite. She's got a pen in one hand, a question in the other. Tells stories of soul with data as her brother. From goddess to gadget, she'll help you make sense. It's Wisewoman and Wordsmith, where magic gets intense.
Thanks for tuning in to the Download podcast. Feel free to like, comment and share and all of that good stuff. And for more about my books, coaching and business services, please check out wisewomanandwordsmith.com. Also, I'd love to hear more about your own intuitive hits and downloads. So do find us on Facebook, YouTube and more.